Hi, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. It's great to see you again. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently down 4.19% to 57,403. Ethereum down 5.15% to 4011. My goal is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and also gain real wealth in the process. Rule 138, all investors become traders whenever they buy or sell. The two greatest enemies to any investor and trader are self-sabotage and self-doubt. Rule 774, master yourself to master the market. Self-sabotage and self-doubt don't announce themselves, they happen below awareness. One thing to really focus on is Rule 333. Never act on fear. Turning to KS zone analysis, the four stages that all investors and traders progress through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth. Zones 1 and Zones 2 are the panic zones and the blame zone. This is all about fear. Fear comes from a focus that certainty is possible, and when certainty evaporates, it's natural to feel fear. For example, many people would look at the market and say, oh, why don't I sell Ethereum and Sol and DOT and BNB and Litecoin and AVAX and File and VET and ICP and Kusama at the top before this happened? Oh, it's so bad. I'm making these losses. Those losses are paper losses. If you're in the right stage of the market, and you're in the bull market segment, those prices will go up again. But what happens in zone 1, especially zone 1, the panic zone, is people get overtaken by fear, uncertainty and doubt, which is FUD, or fear of missing out when prices increase. This is all about internal panic. It's a fear-based response. People progress to zone 2, which is the blame zone. That's all about external panic, conflict, attacking others. But it's all about, realistically, it's just about coping with fear and understanding that certainty does not exist in financial markets. When people move past zones 1 and zone 2 into zone 3, which is the patience and rule zone, it's all about probabilistic fearlessness, all about probabilities. It's about gaining knowledge and forgiving yourself for not picking the tops and not picking the bottoms. There's a lot of analysis that goes on in zone 3, trading diaries, trading journals, understanding what happened, what went right, what went wrong. It's all about learning, always seeking out new knowledge. Zone 4 is the meaning zone. Through gratitude and worthiness, people can enter zone 4 at any stage. They don't have to go through 1, 2 and 3. You can go immediately into 4. If you go immediately into 4, you'll pass through 1 and 2 to zone 3 very, very quickly. But the important thing is it's not a race. Of course, being in zone 1 and zone 2 are not pleasant experiences, but it's normal. Everybody goes through them. When people are in zones 1 and zone 2, of course they want certainty. How do you get certainty? The price must have proven itself. You must have seen price come up and up and up and up. And just when it's just about to roll over, people tend to buy the top because they want absolute certainty. Absolute certainty does not exist in financial markets. Traders have a different mindset. They look for different signals. They seek to get in around the bottom, not necessarily at the bottom, just around the bottom. And they don't seek to sell the top. They seek to sell the top when it confirms it's the top. Now, why don't they buy the bottom and sell the top if they're so good? The real issue is nobody knows where the bottom is or knows where the top is until after. Of course, you can use statistics and probability and applied mathematics to get some sort of perspective, but unfortunately, no one knows. Because of fear, investors tend to FOMO in when price is going up and they increase their average buy price. Traders seek to decrease their average buy price. What happens when investors feel that they've got it wrong? They actually exit their positions just typically before price turns around. And that is the game that institutional investors play on the retail market. Everything we do within our community is to teach you institutional thinking. Putting Rule 333 into practice is not easy. Never acting on fear is difficult to do because we're all human beings. But one very powerful thing that the community has found is not obeying the light switch effect in Zone 1 and Zone 2. Because people want 100% certainty, they want to be 100% correct 100% of the time and not lose any money. Hey, if you could get it, why not? That's really fair. Unfortunately, reality does not permit that kind of outcome in life. Instead, what happens when people don't feel certainty, when they feel that they're wrong, they tend to go all in or all out. This is the light switch effect. A way to actually bypass fear is forget the light switch effect and move across to the dimmer, move across to probabilistic fearlessness. Have a strategy for what happens if price goes against you or if price goes for you. Look at scaling in and scaling out. That's buying at layers and selling at layers, coming in and out. That's what Zone 3 and Zone 4 are all about. And Zone 4 is all about the wealth that life has to offer, just above money. Many people have a lot of money, but they don't feel very satisfied. They have accomplished their financial goals, but they feel empty inside. That's why it's so important to chase real wealth. Real wealth is financial wealth, plus all the intangible wealth components, such as inner and outer peace, fulfillment and meaning, empathy and love, kindness, authenticity, courage and honor, purpose and fearlessness. You don't have to just settle for money. You can settle for money and a beautiful life. To fight the dual forces of self-sabotage and self-doubt, it's really critical for you to absolutely understand that you're worthy and unique. You're so unique, there will never ever be anyone like you in the history of the world. That's something to celebrate. Therefore, you deserve kindness, you deserve love, you deserve meaning and every success in life. Now that we have our psychology right, we need to get our focus correct. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. What does this really mean? Your beloved alt is influenced by Bitcoin's gravity. If Bitcoin goes up, your alt will in all probability go up. If Bitcoin goes down, in all probability, your alt will come down. We have what's called a directional bias or directional gravity in the crypto market. It's really important to understand Rule 45. Turning to Bitcoin's technical action, we can see price broke down from this support level around 62,642 and then continued its down path. What we do as a community is that we're always buying in layers down. Where could price go to? It's currently 57,276. It's in all likelihood going to come back and test this upward support line. It could overshoot it. It could come down to as low as 49,305. However, we always have to take note of what could happen in the market. There's talk about MtGox. We've been covering that for quite a while now. We can see that what people said about MtGox, for example, what was represented in the media, $9 billion of Bitcoin flooding, everybody's going to sell, that's going to crash the market. We don't have any confirmation of that, and we're looking. We dig really, really deeply, and our community is fantastic. So many people send me links and URLs and research information. I just love it. Please keep doing that. It's just wonderful, and I can share it with the community here. The other thing on December the 3rd is the debt ceiling needs to be raised. We're going to see a lot of fluff come out of the mainstream media about the debt ceiling. We're not seeing much, if anything, at the moment, apart from the article that I covered yesterday Also, the Evergrande or the Chinese property market is still an issue. What does all this mean? It means that the probability is for Bitcoin's price to come back and test support. That would be really, really healthy. To come back and test support and confirm it is fantastic. It also cools down the market a little. We really need this. If the market gets too overheated, it will just top out. We don't want that. We want it to keep going up. Just bear in mind, all of these media stories will be blown out of all proportion, causing Zone 1 and Zone 2 investors and traders to basically get upset. And we don't want that. Inside our community, we actively use fear as our friend, not fear as our foe. When the market goes into fear, we're buying because we know the overall trend of crypto is just incredible. Some key levels for you to focus on: 55,590, 49,305. These are the two key ones. If you have the ability to do 10-5-10 funds, your volatility funds, you would want to place those volatility orders as low down as you can get them, but in levels, in layers. If we get some negative news that rattles the market, that's fantastic, because that will actually use fear for our advantage. It's a wonderful thing to think that actually you can harness the destructive power of fear and turn it into constructive, life-changing wealth. How awesome. As we like to say, make in advance probabilistic choices. What happens if crypto just dramatically does a U-turn and starts to rally up strongly? It could absolutely do that. What happens if negative news overwhelms retail investors and the market plummets down? What would you do? What if it gets boring and the market just goes sideways? What will you do? These are really, really important questions to answer for yourself and your particular strategy. Looking at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, it's really fantastic that the amount of greed is coming out of the market. This resets the market. This is absolutely what we require for utter higher price momentum. We need to call the shorts into the market. The shorts are cooling down the market. That's exactly what is happening here. The shorts are increasing their positions. If you're short, you definitely have some time to make profitability, but please be careful. As a lot of news stories mislead, we look at MtGox's reserve through their on-chain data. They've got about 138,000 Bitcoin in their reserves. When this starts to come down, we'll know that that remediation is occurring. We'll keep our eye on this. So many people say that the 138,000 Bitcoin is just going to flood the market. From the research that we've done, that is not going to be the case. It's going to take time. As far as the debt ceiling is concerned, we actually went through this particular article, and there's been no other articles since. It's not getting top page or front page attention, but it will. Looking at the Chinese property market, of course everybody is centered on Evergrande, but Evergrande is just one of the players. We've got Fantasia Holdings, Greenland Holdings, which is this green line, Country Garden, which is this yellow line, and also Vanke, which is the white line. We can see all the prices of these Chinese property developers has been hit, and it's been hit really, really significantly. We can see there's a little bit of downward price momentum at the moment. We need to take note of this, but we never do the light switch effect. What we look at is simply, well, this could be a great buying opportunity. The key thing to understand, all markets are interconnected and intercorrelated. For example, people can put their money into stocks or bonds or gold or highly speculative assets such as Bitcoin, but we know that crypto is not so speculative. It's actually the foundation of the next evolution of the internet. There's some stories that people in mainstream are not getting across, but we understand it on this channel. We can see the proxy for stocks. The S&P 500 is up 32% over the past year. Gold is down 1% and Bitcoin is up 222%. If we look at the stock market globally, in November 2020, it was $95 trillion. The bond market in August 2020 was $128 trillion. Let's just, for the sake of simplicity, say that the crypto market is $2 trillion. We know that the money printer has been going burr in a big way, so stocks and bonds are very much larger than these figures, but this is good to just be conservative. What we see here, the stock market, if we attracted some money from the stock market and some money from the bond market into crypto, you can see that the market cap of crypto could literally explode. It's really important to understand the interplay. Bonds are a risk-off asset. People park their money in bonds when things are going south. That just generally means there's a lot of demand for bonds when crashes hit or there's economic or political instability. The stock market flows funds between the bond market and the bond market to the stock market. This is really critical to understand, and a lot of people don't think about it like this. The stock market is a speculative venture, but crypto is speculation on steroids. If we look at the stock market's fear gauge, which is the VIX, we can see the fear is coming out of the market. What does that actually mean? If the fear comes out of the market, just like the crypto market, what we see are prices increasing. You might notice this kind of wobbly line in the background. That is Bitcoin's fingerprint, Bitcoin's price action overlaid against the NASDAQ. It's really interesting to see. We can see that the NASDAQ has found support and has bounced like a Super Bowl. It's making its way up. We can also see light crude oil is under resistance. The bond prices, stuff we really need to pay attention to, and the bond yields. We can see the bond prices took a bit of a spike up, especially when the Evergrande issues were hitting the market, and now it's hitting resistance and making a play back. We can see the bond yields, and look at the correlation between bond yields and the directional bias of crypto. Really quite fascinating. We can see that the bond yields are coming up to resistance, just something to be aware of. Look at gold, it's going for it. It's going up. Good on you, gold, well done. The US dollar currency index has broken above a level of resistance and has very significant support below it as well. You'll read many articles that say that the US dollar currency index, the DXY, and Bitcoin move in opposite directions. If you just draw a simple line from the 7th of December 2020 to right now, Bitcoin has gone up. What has the dollar done? Let's see. Has it gone up as well? Yeah, it has. To combat fear, it's very important to zoom out. When we look at the KS model, which is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology, we can see we're in the bull market segment of the current price action. We're being supported on the way up. The overall trend from Fidelity Investments, the quantitative analyst there, and Fidelity Investments has over $4 trillion of assets under management. When they put out an estimate, they must do due diligence on it. We can see that they are estimating 1 million per Bitcoin in 2026 onwards and 10 million per Bitcoin at 2030 onwards. The overall trend is really good. Of course, we're going to get swings up and down, but buying something, for example, at $57,000 Bitcoin and knowing it's going to go up to $1, $2, $3 million, wow, that's not a bad investment. I'd like to thank community member Rect for his comments. Thank you, my friend. Rect was saying, how can less than 3% of the population hold Bitcoin but less than 1% have an active Bitcoin address? There are many Bitcoin addresses that are inactive. People aren't using them. They've been dormant for some time. This comes down to the definition of what an active address is. I hope that helps, my friend. The path to the top is not a straight line. Many people think that price will just go up and up and up and never correct, and it will just hit the top and then die. It doesn't do that either way. You can see here the path to the top in the 2016 bull run had some massive increases, but the increases are just what you expect. It's the problem resulting from the decreases that you've got to focus on. Having a 20% decrease, a 40% decrease, a 30% decrease, a 50% decrease. How do you combat that fear? The first thing is you just need to know it will happen. And if you know that, it's not going to shake you out. That's why I try to give you so much contextualized information so you can make better decisions to increase the financial blessings for yourself and those you love. Let's have a quick look across the market. We can see that Bitcoin is making its way down. And what do we say about Bitcoin? No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Is that in fact true? We can see Bitcoin came down, Ethereum came down, Binance Coin came down, Solana came down. It's come down very, very hard. XRP is coming down, Cardano is coming down, DOT is coming down, DOGE is coming down. This is the way the crypto market plays out. The good thing to remember as well is that when Bitcoin finds a level of support and bounces, the whole market will bounce as well. That's why we want to keep our eye on things. Our community is a really fearless community. When we see price coming down, we look at it and say, wow, this is phenomenal. I get to pick up things more cheaply. Wow, fantastic. When others are running away, we're like firefighters running into the burning building. For example, I just picked up some Sol as well because such a good deal. And we have layers seeking to catch the falling knife. Let's have a look at the next day. We can see SHIB making its way down. We can see Bitcoin's gravity impacting the entire crypto market. When you understand this, this makes life so much easier. We can see Luna just below support. AVAX coming back to test support, looking quite healthy. Litecoin has lost that support level, coming back to a consolidation area. We can see Uni has absolutely lost its support. We can see Chainlink is also under support. It's under resistance. It's coming up to a consolidation level now. ALGO partied hard in the previous session and was squashed back. This was just a news spike. They happen all the time. Bitcoin Cash coming back to support. Metaverse projects have just caught the world's attention like NFTs did in the past. We can see Decentraland Mana doing really well. Look at that. It's on its way up. It is defying Bitcoin's gravity. But don't forget, gravity always plays in at some stage. Axie Infinity is obeying Bitcoin's gravity. It has a level of support below, which will probably come into play around $100 mark. Engine Coin is doing really well. Look at this beautiful level of support. SLP, the counterpart to Axie Infinity, is overall quite weak. We can see ILV has lost its support. Sand continues to party hard. It's just really going for it. Alice is also doing exceedingly well. Veracity is coming back to retest its support here. It's under resistance at the moment. We can see it's really interesting that Sand and Alice and Decentraland Mana are all quite positive. Engine is also quite strong. But when we look at Axie Infinity, ILV and Veracity, they're weakening at the moment. Don't forget that things will just slosh around. People looking at particular projects will say, okay, I think Sand is a bit overvalued now. I'm not saying that they're going to do this right now. And then they may say, I want to get into VRA or I want to get into Axie. This is very normal stuff. all the money tends to slosh around all over the place between key players. It's just important to be aware that that actually happens. Let's bullet through the health of the market. We can see the stablecoin USDT increasing in circulating supply. This is always a good thing. More stable coins come into the market. That is what we want. That's all about investor attractiveness. Looking at the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio SSR oscillator, we can see that the stablecoins are coming into the market and their decreased rate of going into Bitcoin is matching the price action. All financial markets are psychological by nature. We can see we're in the green area, belief and denial at the moment. We're not up to this blue area. The blue area is witnessing an exponential blow off top. That's for the last market cycle, the 2016 halving cycle. When we reach blue, we've got to pay a lot of attention to that. The actual decrease in this green area is really, really healthy. We can also see the Google search term for Bitcoin is just decreasing because fear is increasing in the market. This is when institutional traders and investors are buying. When that fear comes into the market, they want to always lower the average buy price. The number of Bitcoin addresses is still increasing. This is supporting upward price momentum. Just because we get a little bit of a retracement, that doesn't mean that the positive move is over. That just creates a buying opportunity. What we're seeing here is the number of new addresses goes parabolic when the peak is reached. That's the kind of action that we want to keep our eye on. It's not happening at the moment. We know that there's a really strong correlation between Bitcoin's price and the amount of futures open interest across all exchanges. What we see here, futures open interest has dropped to 23.5 billion, and we can see the downturn in the open interest. The current open interest is 23.84 billion, just slightly higher. Looking at Bitcoin options expiring at the end of the month, November the 26th, the put-call ratio is 0.39, total open interest 42,734. We can see the max pain price has decreased $1,000 to $59,000, but there are a lot of people expecting higher prices. Over the past 24 hours, there's been 567.33 million in liquidations across 162,804 trading positions. Over the past 12 hours, 81.33% of those liquidations were long liquidations. We can see the long liquidations occurring in the market. When a long gets liquidated, they need to sell. That's why the price is driven down. When shorts liquidate, the price is driven up. So there's always that dynamic. When the market gets overheated, the shorts come into the market and cool the market down. But the shorts can't stay in a cold market, because what happens is the longs come in to warm it up. And it goes between getting heated up, turning on fire, and turning to ice. This is the way of the crypto market. We can see that we've had reasonable liquidations here, but not any multi-billion dollar liquidations like this 3.22 on the 7th of September. Turning to Binance derivatives, we see 24-hour trading volume around 107 billion. That's a lot of money, isn't it? 24-hour open interest 14.1 billion. What we do when we look at this change in the price of the contract for the past 24 hours, what we're trying to do is not get involved with options or futures or anything like that. We don't want to touch derivatives. If you touch derivatives and you don't know what you're doing, you'll blow your account up, which means you'll lose everything. So please don't do that. Just trade at spot. That means that you can hold on to it for years if you want, and there's no cost in doing so. We can see Bitcoin is under about 5.4% negative pressure. Ethereum 5.8% negative pressure. What this basically means is Ethereum's price is going down more than Bitcoin's. and that you may look at the market and say, wow, there's not many opportunities. That's why we come in here. It's a bit of a secret. I love giving you secrets. We can see that Sand and Mana, Alice, TLM, ALGO, CHR, they're not doing too badly. These could be options for you to look at if you want to do a little bit of day trading, or for example, if you think that their technicals look good. Of course, in the market, there's always a lot of negative price action. Sometimes these negative ones come down to key support levels and they can be just perfect to get in on. But I'll leave it to you. We cover this range of things or range of topics much more deeply in the masterclass. I'd like to thank all the very kind and generous community members who've reached out and shown their appreciation by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. Thanks so much, everyone. I'd like to especially thank Ronnie and Rudy. Thanks, Ken. You're welcome, my friend. Someone who shall remain nameless, but that's very generous of you. Thanks so much. Bishyati, thank you, my friend. Vicenti, after a few days without being able to see your videos, I've been able to enjoy them again. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Vicenti. I hope you've been okay. Often people leave quite detailed messages below, but I always show the public view. I don't ever share anything that's confidential with anyone. It just comes from many, many years being involved in corporates. It's just a default position of mine. As my way of saying thank you to the kind generosity of the Coffee Club members, I do a special video for the Coffee Club members each month. How you get into those videos, just log in, go to posts, and then you'll see the different Coffee Club videos here, such as the 10-5-10 rule, a much deeper dive, assessing volume integrity, and quite a few other ones. I do that each month, just as my way of saying thank you so much for your generosity. As we look across the market, we can see there must be a lot of fear in the market, but not so for our community. We look at this as a unique buying opportunity. We are all about mastering ourselves and not acting on fear, but using fear as a tool to allow us to enter the market at a much better average buy-in price. We're about getting out of the panic and the blame zone, getting into probabilistic fearlessness, and living a life with meaning. We're about thinking counterintuitively and not getting pulled in when the herd is getting pulled in, but getting positioned early and just riding that wave up. And more importantly, we're all about creating a positive trend in our life. Having inner and outer peace is really, really important. All the money in the world without inner and outer peace makes for poverty. Each video I go through this quote because I believe it's so incredibly important to combat self-sabotage and self-doubt. Understanding that you are worthy and unique, you deserve kindness, love, meaning, and every success in life, and you do. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from and if you have any questions. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video. And concerning the masterclass, I'm creating really beautiful content. I love what I'm putting together for you. It's going to give you such an edge, and it's unlike any single crypto trading masterclass or crypto trading training that you could ever do. It's got a lot of new discoveries in it, and those discoveries, well, discoveries that I've known of for many, many years, but haven't been out in the main public arena. I think you'll find it just fantastic. Okay, so with that, please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.